Hi guys, I'm back. I'm finally back. Okay, so I've got a few announcements to make. One, as I moved to Montreal, Canada, and this is my new home. It's a furnished rental. Ta-da! I hope to actually get my own place this summer, but for now I've got this cute little spot. Number two, I am opening up a new channel called Lunatic Astrology, and that should launch, I believe, in the first week of May. And I'm telling you about it now because if you want to sign up to get on my mail list to hear about my launching of my new channel on YouTube and my new website too, then I have a sign up link below where I capture your email, and in exchange for that you get to be entered into a draw for a free 1-hour consultation with me. And I am drawing 3 names no matter how many people do or do not sign up, and so that will be a couple of months of asking you to sign up to get some announcements from me, and then I will draw from a hat 3 names for a reading that's good for like forever. You know, you can use it whenever you want. And I work by Zoom and I record the session for you. So why astrology, why now? Just so you understand where I'm coming from. I began studying astrology when I was 23 in 1985, and I fell in love with it. It was like a memory of something I'd done before. I used to hand calculate the math for natal charts. I mean, seriously, long form before I even had software or knew of software to do it. You know, without me making a math error. And I also wrote some astrology books. I ghost wrote astrology books for Berkeley Press for a bit back when I lived in New York City, and then about 1990, 1991. So I know astrology well, I love it, and I've been a student of astrology nonstop all of my life. And when I practice astrology, and when I have used it in the past in concurrence with my readings with clients, I've always used modern astrology. So here's the cool kicker part of my story. I am studying with Adam Ellenbos, who is a well-known Hellenistic astrologer, learning the old school Hellenistic, Mesopotamian, and Egyptian stuff that was recovered in a thing called Project Hindsight by a few astrologers who translated these very old, you know, languishing, you know, historical texts from their Greek language state into English, and we began to reclaim and rediscover the actual real astrology or primary astrology that was practiced before the advent of the last 100 years or so, in which we have what we call modern astrology. So it's a little bit different because I don't want to get too technical with you, but my chart reading won't look like another astrologer's. But having been using the Hellenistic astrology approach now for a little bit over 3 months with my clients, myself, my friends, I'm finding it is way more accurate. It's crazy. I've just changed my whole chart around using the whole sign approach, which moved a bunch of planets into different houses, and finally my life makes sense. I'm like, oh my God, now I get it. Now it makes sense. So I'm hoping that you'll be willing to jump aboard with me and do that adventure of my new practice in Hellenistic astrology. And the reason my brand or my channel will be called Lunatic Astrology is I'm extremely keen to go deeper into the understanding of the lunar qualities of who you are. There's so much solar astrology out there with sun sign astrology, and you know, there's a lot to be gleaned from the moon because, well, the solar energy, the sun, is your kind of soul's intention in the world. Your lunar aspect, like the silver screen, you know, of Hollywood, the reflected light of the solar in what the moon represents is your material world, like the lunar landscape of your reality. It is like, how does it come into matter, you know, that which you desire and intend. And so your lunar part is very important. So we're going to do that because that's what I like to focus on. So a lot of my channel is going to be about phases of the moon and your natal phases and lunar progressions and the lunar phase when you were born if you have a session with me. So we'll definitely slant toward the lunar. So Lunatic Astrology is a domain that I registered, gosh guys, I think in 2011, and I just parked it till the day that I was ready to experiment. And so there's that. So stay tuned for that. Second announcement is I would like you to know that awakening refresh shift that hit me in December is still here. I'm pretty well abiding these days in a state of exquisite calm. I'm going to show you something really cool. Calm is an understatement. Hang on there. You guys are going to laugh at this. So this is so much fun. These headbands are called the Muse, right? Muse headbands, and I bought them for my daughter 2 years ago so she could learn to meditate. Okay, like get down with this. You you know, they register your brain waves. And anyway, I should, you know, maybe I'll endorse these guys and they'll give me money for it. Because anyway, I used them the last 2 mornings in a row to try them out so that I could convince her they're worth using, because my daughter's in McGill University in Montreal, one of the reasons I moved to Montreal. And she's 19, and she hasn't been keen to give it a try, so I thought I'd give it a try. So it was kind of fun to do this yesterday and the day before as my morning meditation, which I do anyway, but put these headphones on and it records your brain waves. And so you're supposed to strive for this deep calm inner peace with, you know, no thinking and agitating of the brain. And, you know, so my results are stupid. Like, I mean, there's like, I got, my first session was like, of the 3-minute meditation, 2 minutes and 49 seconds were at the ideal state of calm. You know, the extra seconds were neutral, and there was like 2 seconds of activity. So I don't really think I need this to train myself biofeedback wise, you know. And the way it works is when you have the headphones on, if you hear chirping birds, that means you're in the calm state. So you want to, you know, incubate the chirping bird sound, and that means you're like down in the depths of samadhi. So anyway, but the point is that was kind of a sidebar, sorry, that the refresh awakening shift has deepened the already present awakening. And I want to encourage you guys to read the book that triggered it for me. And another person I know got triggered by the same book in December. And also I know of other people who actually had their own shifts in December anyway. Some kind of wave rolled through, which we'll get to in a minute, the wave thing. And the book is called The Impersonal Life, and you'll find the link in the subject area below where you can just download it for free, PDF, written in 1914, public domain. See if it doesn't trigger something for you. The Impersonal Life, and it's all about the I Am consciousness. Ignore the word God if you're triggered by it. It was written by a minister in 1914. So just take that language and make it whatever you like, source or whatever. Okay, and the last thing I want to talk about is this whole event wave thing that, if you're on my channel, you might have gotten here because I was on the show Unbiased on the Fence with Shane, and a lot of the discussion back in 2018 was about the event wave. And I want to talk about a little bit about it, just a little bit, before I sign off here. You know, there's some disillusionment because, I think I just spit. There's some disillusionment because the event wave didn't seem to happen as an all-in-one, like, you know, rapture-like thing in September. And some people are feeling like the whole phenomena of it as, you know, as even something to talk about has waned or ebbed. I feel like it's ongoing, and like that shift that I experienced in December, and other people as well, they're like ripples or they're ongoing waves. And one of the analogies I have for it is like, you know, it's like we're kind of stretching as a human, as a collective consciousness into this new territory. And it's like if you had a sheet of saran wrap, and you know how it's clear, and if you can press your hand through it, it kind of goes, mwah, you know, and your fingers stretch, and then pop, suddenly there's this pop. Like you break through the saran. Well, the reason I like the saran wrap analogy for what this shift is that we're all having is a couple of things. It's transparent and see-through, and you know, so you can't see it, touch it, or feel it in a sense. It's like a transparent force field. And the second thing I like about it is that popping through happens after a kinetic momentum, right? You have to press your hand through the saran, and suddenly you pop your fingers through the other side of the saran wrap, the stretchy saran wrap. I feel like that's what we're all doing on our own individual timeline, our own individual time frame, you know, and that there's no one big event for everybody. It's little breakthroughs, one person at a time. And even as I say that there was a refresh for me, or some kind of a wave of a breakthrough of deeper and deeper equanimity and continual sense of peace and trust and joy. I don't imagine that there's not another one coming. There's another breakthrough and another. And so each of us is called to do these, our own movement through to the next depths within us, to recognize who and what we really are. And I know that this world seems like it's going to hell in a handbasket, and we have species extinction and rapid climate change, but there's hope. And I read an article about 2 species they thought were extinct being rediscovered. One was a giant bee, like huge in Indonesia, like the size of my hand. And so, you know, I feel like as we shift and as the collective shifts through each of us shifting to a greater state of awareness of who we are, and you'll know you're in that awareness of who you really are when chaos is happening around you but not to you. You don't take it personally, and when you're not in a state of anxiety, fear, and reaction to reality, when the baseline state becomes trust, trust, like everything is okay as it is, not as a thought, not as a platitude, not as a saying on your refrigerator, as a known truth, as simply everything is actually okay as it is. And from that state of equanimity and peace, then the actions you do take in the world to make change, affect change, will have greater luminosity behind them. So even my decision to start an astrology channel and begin to repractice astrology as my main focus these days is because that stillness informed that choice. So the apprenticeship in Hellenistic astrology, the decision to take the channel and make it real again, like from the park domain, all of that has occurred since this shift in December. So a lot of momentum and a lot of new right action. And I think I always thought to myself, astrology is just too lame or something because, I'm not that girl. I'm the awakened dreamer. I'm supposed to be all about enlightenment. But yeah, I don't want to have people pay me for enlightenment. And you can't give it away. You can't even sell it, let alone give it away. So I love astrology. It's my chop wood, carry water way to help people navigate their realities and to see the phases that they're in. Like even for myself right now, I'm in a ninth house profection year using Egyptian Time Lord techniques. And without going into a lot of song and dance about it, the ninth house is a time of studying and learning something in a higher education mode. And I'm in a year-long apprenticeship with a certificate at the end of it for Hellenistic astrology with a well-known teacher of Hellenistic astrology. So I'm saying that the point of saying that is that when we're aware of the greater picture in our lives and where we fit into that picture and how we are, have a perfect role and has a perfect unfoldment, when we have that awareness both intuitively and knowingly because we're in a state of peace and through astrology, so we can see the map, it's not the terrain, dudes, but it is the map, then we can move forward with a great deal of grace in our lives and allow grace to enter into our lives. So that's my hope in practicing the astrology. So again, rounding up this long video, check it out below. You can sign up for Lunatic Astrology. Basically, you're going on my mail list that's just dedicated to that channel. And so it's separate from my Awakened Dreamer mail list. And what I will do from that mail list is I will keep you posted for sales, events, when my channel launches in May, special messages from me just about astrology, not about enlightenment. Okay, so I'm building a new mailing list for my new passionate purpose. Second of all, check out the book I want to tell everybody about all the time, The Impersonal Life. See if it doesn't trigger some sense of peace, joy, grace, and hope in your own world. And the event wave, remember, you're popping through the saran wrap one pop at a time. It's not a one big event that's going to happen on like September 21st, 2019 or something like that. It's a process and it's individual. And then by virtue of each individual, it is also collective. All right, guys, thank you for listening. I'll be checking in here more often as I get ready for the Lunatic Astrology launch. I probably won't close this channel, but it won't be as active after the month of May. All right, and if you want to unsubscribe, of course, do. And if you like what I'm doing now, you can subscribe here as well and get messages and notifications of what I'm up to as well. Okay, thank you. Mwah.